Oh hey, remember me? I know it's been a while. I kind of forgot that I had a YouTube channel, but I'm kind of excited today because I'm going to be talking about the Valve's Steam Deck. Hey everyone, thank you for coming back and checking out a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about Valve's Steam Deck, and I'm super excited to talk about it. I keep wanting to say Stream Deck. It is the most frustrating thing talking about these two products is whenever I want to talk about Stream Deck, I say Steam Deck, and every time I want to talk about Steam Deck, I say Stream Deck. But today we're talking about Valve's Stream Deck. I want to focus on sort of the perspective of an average gamer's experience with the Steam Deck. I've had it for over 30 days now. I've had some time to sit down and experience a few things. I'm gonna talk about why I liked it, some of the things I didn't like about, and who should buy it, should you buy it, sort of who I think it applies to, and maybe it might help you make your decision on buying one in the future. I really want to thank everyone that has watched my other videos on the Backbone and the Razer Kishi and all the phone controller reviews that I've done. The Backbone one video is over 15,000 plays, so thank you all so much. Thank you for subscribing, and I'm really happy you all have enjoyed those videos. So the first thing, kind of want to get out the way and sort of make sense, is what's amazing about this is it has access to a large majority of Steam's library, and it's insane. It's a huge library of games that you have access to. Some of them don't work, but Steam has an incredible way of letting you know on games that are compatible. If they have a large list of games you can see right on the store where it tells you if they are great on Steam Deck, which basically means that they work fine and they will play relatively well on the console. It's a nice way to see when you're looking at games and you're like, hey, can I play this? And it clearly tells you. Also, for games that have not been officially labeled as great on Steam Deck, they have them labeled on issues that you may have throughout the games, even though they're still playable. It's like a little yellow icon and it says game details. So for instance, Assassin's Creed Origins has an issue with the launcher and the Ubisoft launcher, and it'll tell you that in there. But it works, it plays fine through my experience with that game. It plays wonderfully. It just lets you know that there are certain issues that certain games have playing on the Steam Deck, and it's a nice way to look and see to help you decide if you want to install it, buy it, what have you. One of the issues is that you cannot play games that require an anti-cheat software, so like Call of Duty or Destiny 2 will not run on the Steam Deck because Steam Deck runs on Linux and there is no anti-cheat software for those games, almost all games that are compatible with the Linux software. So there's a little bit of downside there with some of these games. I really wanted to play Destiny 2 on there, but I just can't. It's just not possible. I will caveat that with you can install Windows and run games using the Windows operating system. I have not tested that out. It does not look like something that I would want to do anyway, but I believe you can run Windows and still play those games, but the overall experience probably is not going to be as good as you run the native OS. I did find out that certain games that have launchers like Assassin's Creed Origin or Jedi Fallen Order, those require separate sort of launchers, but they actually run pretty well. There's ways around it. It's a little bit of a nuisance to get up and running correctly, but the games themselves run beautifully once you figure that step out. It took me some researching, some YouTubing, and it really wasn't that difficult to get sorted out, but it runs great. As you can see, Assassin's Creed runs and looks beautiful on this device. So one of the things that I like to do with these things is tinker, and the first thing I wanted to try out was emulation. I didn't test out much of the emulations or emulators out there. I did test Switch emulation and I did test the Wii U emulation because I wanted to see how Breath of the Wild ran, and let me say, the Wii U emulation is amazing. The game runs beautifully. Breath of the Wild on the Wii U emulator, it's insane. It's probably the best experience I've had playing that game. Obviously if you have a PC it's going to be even better, but it runs beautifully. Switch emulation is pretty incredible as well. The games run Not all games, there's certain games like Breath of the Wild does not run great. There's ways you can tinker with it to get it to run a little bit better, but frames per second aren't exactly the best. I'm not super happy with the way Breath of the Wild runs. It just doesn't, you can't hit 40 frames per second running a Switch Breath of the Wild version of the game. It just doesn't work that well. I will say that Metroid runs beautifully. It's 60 frames. It's incredible. It really is crazy that how well the emulation works. One of the really cool things too is that the mod community actually created a gyro controls that works with the Steam Deck, because that's built-in gyro, and it works with Breath of the Wild. It is amazing. It is, I can't say how happy I am with the way the game runs on Steam Deck. Overall, it's just such a great experience. And overall, Steam Deck just knocks it out of the park with Switch emulation and Wii U emulation. Now for Switch emulation, I would like to caveat and say that please play the games that you own. Don't download, don't steal them, buy them, and that's all I'm gonna have to say about that. I don't want to get into the topic of piracy, but buy the games before you use them on the Steam Deck. Also, one of the things that I love so much about the Steam Deck is the overlay options you have. It gives you tons of information about frames per second, voltage, speeds of the CPU and GPU. You can tinker with the hertz of the screen. You can create profiles specific to the game. So if you have a game that you only want to run at 40 frames per second, because it can't run at 60 frames, and you want for just that game, then you can set up a profile. I did that with Spider-Man. I set it up to only 40 frames per second. Now it doesn't always hit 40 frames, but it allows for a smoother playthrough. Now like a game like Bastion, I put 60 frames and it runs beautifully. So it's a nice thing that the Steam Deck offers as far as customization and personalization is how you enjoy the games. It's beautifully done, it's awesome. It's something that I just really like about this console. So another really fun thing that I found that I really did enjoy about this is the customization, and one of the customization options is boot up videos. They recently had an update making it super easy to add your own boot up videos, and there's actually an application that you can install and it does it for you, so it's super easy. The community, one thing that Valve has done with this is they've left it open, and customization and everything is just off the charts. It's super cool, the things that we've been able to do on it, and I can't talk enough about it. So you can see some of the videos here that I've done where I changed the boot up screen. Currently using the Disney one just, for the nostalgia feels. I love it. It's really cool. So this is an anecdotal experience that I had with this, is the battery life. I didn't do any super cool tests, and check the voltage and things like that, but I gotta say the battery life is not great. It's not ideal for long trips without having something to plug into or a battery that you can take with you, like a chargeable battery, like a portable battery. If you are going to be on long trips where you're not going to be able to plug in, I recommend getting a nice recharged battery that you can use with this. Other than that, that's probably my biggest gripe. I understand that it's not easy to put in, to keep it at the price point that it is and have that, and the decisions that they made with the battery that they included in this. Now I tested out numerous controllers. Switch Pro controller works great. The Xbox Series controller works amazing. I will note that if you have an Xbox Series controller, make sure it's updated, because when I connected via Bluetooth, I had some issues. So you can easily just plug in your controller to your PC and update it that way. You can plug it into your console and update it that way as well. You probably can just update it directly through the Steam Deck, which I didn't do. I just did it through my PC. Just remember that when you have issues connecting your Xbox Series S controller to it, or X, I'm sorry, you might have issues with connecting to it if you haven't updated the firmware on that controller. So there's 3 different models that you can get with this. There's the $400 one, which is 64 gigs of internal memory. The other one is $529 at 256 gigs of memory or storage. And then the most expensive one is $649 with 256 gigs of internal storage. Now, I bought the cheapest one at $400 and installed a 256 SD card. Now I will say the games run or boot up a lot slower on the SD card, depending on the speed and which one you buy. Those are things that you might want to look into if it's like a quality of life things. I noticed Spider-Man boots up painfully slow. I noticed Spider-Man boots up painfully slow among other games as well, but I'm okay with that. I didn't want to spend the extra money. You can buy a much cheaper SD card versus the price difference in the 256 gig or the extra, what is it, extra $250 for the largest version. So I would recommend getting an SD card, even if you have the 250 gig or the other larger storage options. I would recommend getting an SD card. It's a nice to have. Now the question I've been asking myself is, who should buy this? Should you buy it? If you are, I'm not a mobile gamer. I don't go around, I don't travel a lot, I don't sit and play on games very often where I'm, out and about. But if you are a tinkerer like I am, I like to tinker with things. I firmware hacked my Switch just for fun. I tinker around with other OSs, I build computers, I build storage devices just to learn. It is a lot of fun to tinker with this thing. It's incredible. The mod community or the homebrew community has done some amazing things with this, which I hope to touch on in other videos. But if you are just at heart a tinkerer and you like to mess with things, the Steam Deck is for you, 100%. Now I think here's another person that maybe want to buy this. Are you a mobile gamer, or you're a person that likes to, or a person that travels a lot and you like to bring a game or something you want to play to keep you busy and let the time pass? This might be for you. I would do more research and look into it a little bit more just to see if that's how much you want to spend. It's an expensive endeavor. I personally think it's worth it because of just how amazing the system runs these games. The games that we have, it's like a PC in the palm of your hand. So I think, yes, that's the other person. If you're a traveler, 100% you should get one. The only thing is I recommend is getting a battery. Getting a battery is very important because the battery life is not great. So yeah, I love the console. I think it's amazing. The homebrew community, the performance, everything about it is just awesome. And I'm super excited to see where it goes and what comes next. And I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it helps you on your quest or interest in purchasing one. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Steam Deck, what you think about the video. And then I just gotta say thank you all so much for watching these. I hope to do more. It's so much fun, and the positive feedback has been amazing, and I just want to thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. So, adios.